Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is Monday, April the 27th. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Coming into this week, there's a bunch of things to talk about, of course, with earnings, bunch of the Mag 7 reporting. We also have FOMC. As you can see, the overall markets are continuing to rally towards the upside. We'll kind of talk about that here. SPY and Qs leading the markets towards the highs. We have SMH leading the market up 5%. Nvidia, super solid move on Friday. End up taking that towards the upside. That is close to our all-time highs. AMD was up, I think, about 14%. So semis continue to lead the markets towards the upside here. A lot of things to talk about, as I mentioned. Hopefully you guys are doing well. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? How's everyone's weekend? What's up, B Roots? Good morning, Mr. Beast. Good morning, Victor, TW, Cody. Good morning, Maria, Lamit, Andy. What's up? Knight, Joe's, Gerald, Deuce, Robert. What's up, Vate, Maria, Chris, Jean. Good morning, Robert, Deuce, Cosmic, Francisco, Wakey. What's up, Amanda? Yeah, good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me pull up the Forex Factory and the economic calendar, and we'll get started here. Okay. So yeah, coming into this week, at least for over the weekend, we had a little bit of some news that we had. Small gap down, but you can see not really affecting the markets. Overall markets kind of just right at our current retest level, which is our previous level of support, now turning into previous level of resistance, now turning into support here. But we had a little bit of news, right? Gap down, nice little pop, and now we're just right back at this retest level. As I mentioned, we'll talk about this here in a second on the higher time frames, but at least for the economic calendar coming into this week, Monday, no red folder news. Tuesday, we do have consumer confidence that is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The main thing this week is going to be the FOMC. That is going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. Plus, we have the Fed speaking. That's going to be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Thursday at 8:30, we have the advanced GDP along with the core PCE price index with the unemployment cost index. And we also do have unemployment claims as well. And then on Friday, we do have the ISM manufacturing PMI. So as I mentioned, for the economic calendar wise, there's actually a decent amount of things to go over. The main thing, of course, is going to be Wednesday at close. And then, of course, Friday before the market opens at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Now let's head on to the earnings calendar. As I mentioned, we do have a lot of things to talk about this week. In regards to earnings, we do have a bunch of the big tech reporting. So starting off on Monday, not really too much to talk about here on a Monday, but for Tuesday, a couple big ones, right? Robinhood, BE, those are some things to keep an eye out. STX, if you're interested in some of the semis and memory names. So those are the big ones on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, SoFi, we have Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and Google. So about 4 of the big Mag 7s are reporting on Wednesday. Going to be a huge day on this one. Plus, we have FOMC as well. We have Carvana. We have CAR, which ended up having a nice rally last week, ultimately dropped. But this one has earnings. And then on Thursday, we have Apple, SNDK, bunch of memory here, Western Digital, WDC, we have Reddit. We have a couple big ones to keep in mind on Thursday after close. But the main thing here is going to be Wednesday. Wednesday seems like a huge day with FOMC and, of course, a bunch of the big tech reporting. And then, of course, on Thursday here as well. Okay, that's it for the earnings calendar. So keep this in mind. If you do want to take a screenshot of this, you can go on to, you can take a screenshot of this right now. You can go onto Twitter. You can just search up earnings calendar on the internet, and you'll find this as well. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, now let's head on to the charts coming into this week. So first things first, let's go on to the SPY chart and let's talk about this here on a week-to-week basis. Let me grab some water first before I get started. Okay, let's talk about the SPY chart. So currently we're on the weekly time frame. We talked about last week or the week previous, strong weekly candle close above our previous all-time highs. And you can see this week's price action we talked about. We can dig a little bit deeper, even down in towards our previous all-time highs, but we like to see a strong candle close here. And as you can see, last week's price action dug a little bit deeper, never quite came down in towards that previous all-time highs. You can see this candle close basically back right at our all-time highs. So weekly candle, very much bullish, right? Closed above our previous week's candle high. And now you can see this one also closed at our all-time highs here as well. So looking at it on a week by week basis, right? SPY bullish. If we go on to the daily time frame, you can see this one very much bullish here as well, above our previous all-time highs, defended our gap that we created here on the SPY chart. So we had this very miniature gap on the daily time frame, ended up defending this level very nicely. And now, as you can see here, close at a high here on Friday, bullish as well. Now let's go back onto the the 1 hour time frame. As you can see, the key levels that I personally have marked out, 702 along with our 712. As you can see here, above our previous level of resistance. Now what we like to see moving forward, above 712, hold above 712, continuation towards the upside. So for the SPY, as long as you can maintain above our 712, we're going to maintain the most bullish stance here on the markets. Higher lows are being built and continuation back up in towards our all-time highs here and above. Now, if we go into the 15-minute time frame, at least for the levels coming into today in the scenarios, what we're going to keep an eye out on the SPY is going to be that 712. As long as you can maintain above 712, continuation towards the upside here is in play. Another potential scenario coming into market open above our previous day highs. Hold above our previous day highs, continuation towards the upside here as well. So this is what we have on the SPY coming into market open. We're going to maintain a bullish stance in the markets. We've been doing that as of recent, right? Just because the all-time highs is bullish, we're just going to maintain a bullish stance. As long as we're holding above key levels, we can expect all dips to get bought up for continuation towards the upside. So this is what I have for the SPY coming to market open. As you'll see, I haven't had too many bearish scenarios on the SPY or the Qs just because the higher time frame is bullish, right? It's been very difficult to short the overall markets. We had a nice couple of shorting opportunities last week, just kind of a couple of resistance rejections. But really not too much on the overall markets. As I mentioned, a couple nice shorts really presented itself in the past couple of weeks. So be very cautious on the downside. We are at all-time highs. We're above our key level of resistance. Now we just like to see it maintain above 712 for continuation. If we can get underneath the 712, potentially that is a short play for a move back towards the downside, but we're going to have to see a lot of weak price action if that is the case. All right, let's go on to the ES. Same thing. If we go into the weekly time frame, as you can see, strong weekly candle close above our all-time highs, bullish. If we go into the daily chart, we're kind of just basing above our previous all-time highs here. As you can see, for the ES, basing above the 7100. As you can see, nice kind of retest off this level for continuation higher. If we go into the hourly chart here now on the ES, the key levels that we do have marked out is our 7180. Other levels that we do have marked out here as well is our 7080. As you can see here, buyers defended this low. Nice continuation towards the upside on Friday. Now, as you can see here in the pre-market, holding above the 7180, which is our previous level of resistance that we like to see turn into support here for a continuation higher. So for the ES, the key levels that we have marked out coming into today is going to be that 7180. As long as you can maintain above this level, we like to see this hold for this push towards the upside. The next level that we do have is going to be that previous day highs. So we can be looking for actually three scenarios, either above our 7180s, above our previous day highs, or now above our overnight highs for continuation towards the upside. So this is what I have for the ES coming into market open. As I mentioned, shorts are in play underneath our previous level of resistance. So this is the key level that we have here, touch here, multiple touches, if we do want to see some downside, it would have to be underneath this 71.80 for this continued push towards the downside. So this is what we have for the ES coming into market open here today. All right, with that being said, let's head on to the NQ along with the QQQ. As you can see, really strong push towards the upside, and that's great that the Qs is leading the market. That just means a lot of other tech names are moving back towards the upside here as well. So on a week by week basis, as you can see, the Qs, a little bit of a drop to start off the week, but as you can see, really strong candle close here on the weekly time frame. Very much bullish, well above our previous all-time highs here as well. So very bullish here on the weekly time frame. If we go on to the daily time frame, as you can see, very bullish here as well, above our previous all-time highs by a lot here now, up on towards our 663. So bullish here on the daily chart. Nice V-shaped recovery rally from the lows, doing something very similar as we kind of talked about last year, right? This nice kind of V-shaped recovery, continuation towards the upside. Very similar thing, consolidation drop, and now we expect this continued push towards the upside. As for the key levels here on the hourly time frame that we do have marked out, what do we have here is our 656, other levels 650, and all the way down in towards that 642. As you can see here for the Qs, nice break above, retest, continuation towards the upside, another retest, continuation here as well. The key levels that we have on the Qs coming into market open is going to be that previous day lows, 656. Other levels that we have marked out here as well is going to be that 664 here on the QQQ. So this is our previous day highs. What we like to see here on the Qs, maintain above our previous day highs, continuation towards the upside. Another possible scenario above our pre-market highs, continuation higher here as well. So this is what we have on the QQQ coming into market open here. As I mentioned, not really interested in any shorts whatsoever. If we look at this on the hourly time frame, very much bullish here. Every single dip has been bought up. Every single higher low has been made for the Qs, right? As long as you can maintain above this higher low, is going to be the 655. We can maintain a bullish stance here in the markets. It could come all the way back down in towards that 655 and still be bullish for a move higher here as well. That would be on the hourly time frame. If you go into the NQ, very similar thing. As you can see here, weekly time frame is very much bullish above our previous all-time highs. Daily chart, similar thing here as well, above this previous level of consolidation that we had. And now you can see nice rally towards the upside. Hourly time frame, every single dip being bought up so far. Every single previous level of resistance is turning into support for a continuation higher. Key levels that I have for the NQ coming into today is going to be that previous day high. So maintain above our previous day highs, continuation. Now, as long as you can maintain above our overnight highs, similar thing, continuation towards the upside here is in play. Only way I'm interested in downside on the Qs, it would have to do quite a bit. You're either looking for a lower time frame short, which as you know is just purely based off a scalp, or it would have to break underneath our 27,100 at a minimum for this pushback towards the downside. Okay, with that being said, that is the major indices, the SPY and the Qs. We're going to go on to the SMH here in a second. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. All right, let me just grab some water here. Okay. Let's talk about the SMH, which is the Semiconductor ETF. As you can see right here, look at the SMH. This is the semiconductors. Look at how explosive of a move we're having towards the upside, right? We've had some nice break and retest, holding above key levels, and now you can see very strong push above our previous all-time highs. We have a lot of semis leading the markets. Even Nvidia, that's been consolidating for the past half a year, has moving is moving back up and towards our all-time highs. AMD's up about 80% in the past couple of weeks. A lot of memory here pushing up nicely. So basically everything. Yeah, even Intel moving nicely as well. But as you can see for the SMH, well above our previous all-time highs. Another super strong weekly candle close here as well. So very much bullish on the SMH. If you look at this on the daily time frame here as well, pretty big extension towards the upside. So as you can see, we don't really have any key levels of support. We have a couple down close candles, but really nice extension here on the SMH. Every single gap that we have not filling, and we're continuing towards the upside, right? Gap and go. So daily chart, very bullish as you can see right here. Now the key levels that we're going to have marked out is of course going to be that previous day highs. And we can also mark out our previous day lows as well. So for the SMH, another one that is gapping up here in the pre-market, we're above our previous day highs coming to market open. Now what we like to see is a reaction that we have off our previous day highs. So coming to market open here for the SMH, maintain above that previous day highs, 507.50 for continuation higher. Another possible scenario as well is above our 515, hold above that level for this continued push here. So that's what we have on the SMH. As I mentioned, very much bullish on the weekly. Daily's bullish, even the hourly's above our pre-market highs. Now we just like to see it maintain above our 507.50 for continuation higher. I'm not interested in shorting any of the semis whatsoever. A lot of these ones are starting to break out. We'll talk about AMD and Nvidia here in a second. But as you can see here, it would be very hard to short something like the SMH. Is it eventually going to pull back? Yes. But this is not something you want to try and anticipate, right? No levels to base it off of, even if you're looking at it from a bar by bar perspective, until we can show weakness, which is breaking underneath its previous candle low. This is something you don't want to short. We've talked about this here on the Qs as well. Until we can break underneath its previous candle low, not something that you want to short. Right, it's very simple, especially on the daily chart. It's a good understanding of just momentum, right? Until we can break underneath that previous candle low, it's not really something you want to be interested in. You can see every single dip so far, even if you have a down close candle, has closed above its previous candle low. So until we can break underneath, that means the momentum is still intact towards the upside, and we just want to be looking for long positions for continuation higher. Until that happens, then we can be a little bit more neutral, or we can be a little bit more cautious. But if every single candle is basically bullish and it's holding key levels, we just want to be going long in the markets until it doesn't work. All right, so for the SMH, as I mentioned, key levels that we do have is going to be that previous day highs, 507.50. As for the IWM here, not really as big of a move compared to the overall indices, the other indices at least, but this one's still very bullish. You can see this weekly candle did not close above our previous highs. And as you can see, it's kind of retesting our previous all-time highs, but still technically bullish here on the IWM, as long as you can maintain above our 270. If you're looking at this on the daily chart here as well, kind of basing above, we also have this daily gap. Miniature kind of flag pattern here. So for the IWM, maintain above that 270, as I mentioned, continuation towards the upside here. Key levels that we have on the IWM, at least for today, is going to be that 278. As you can see, we do have multiple touches here. And as you can see, we have multiple touches towards the downside, right? Break above our 278, hold above that level for this push towards the upside here on the IWM is in play for a move higher. So that's what we have on the IWM coming to market open here. Now, as I mentioned, we'll head on to some tech names that we do have. Starting off with Tesla. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers, as I mentioned, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below as well. All right, Nvidia took forever to set up, but that 204 break was nice. Yeah, Nvidia did take a long time, especially consolidating. Overall markets was rising. Nvidia ended up moving nicely on a Friday, and now we're already back at all-time highs. We'll talk about this here in a second. But as you can see for Tesla, Tesla is really one of the only names that's not really moving with the overall markets. Most of these names are bouncing nicely, pushing back towards the upside here. Tesla, generally speaking, does like to do its own thing, right? Kind of right back in towards our previous level of consolidation. The week previous, nice weekly candle close after having this downtrend break. But as you can see, we had earnings last week and another little rejection. So for Tesla coming into this week and moving forward, what are the key levels that I personally have marked out? Is going to be this 380. If we were to draw this level, which is basically the line in the sand moving forward, from a technical standpoint, this is going to be key. If we can reclaim back above 380, we can see this nice pushback towards the upside. Right now, currently breaking back underneath. If we can use this as resistance, as a potential flip once again, we can see a move back down in towards our 360 here and below. So we've used this level multiple times here on Tesla. Basically above our 380, continuation higher. Underneath that 380, we can see a move lower. So this is going to be the line in the sand on Tesla, specifically on the daily chart. If you go into the hourly time frame, fairly similar thing. This is basically our earnings low here, 384. If we can get above our 384, potential earnings reversal is in play, back up and towards our 408. Currently, it does seem like we are rejecting here multiple touches on Friday and the day previous. If we maintain underneath that 384, we can see a push back down in towards that 368 and below. So those are the levels I have for Tesla coming to market open. Previous day highs here, along with our previous day lows. And we have our higher time frame key level, which is our 368. Other levels I could have marked out is going to be that 372 previous day lows coming into market open. Let's head on to Nvidia. Nvidia, one of our main watches that we kind of talked about for a push up and towards that all-time highs. So we've been talking about this for a while here on Nvidia. We mentioned the break above that 196 potential retest for that all-time highs move. If we're looking at this one on the daily chart, sorry, on the weekly time frame, we talked about the candle close the week previous above this period of consolidation. Next level that we do have really is going to be that all-time highs 210. Last week, nice candle close. All-time highs is in play. We actually just hit our all-time highs here in the pre-market, but nice weekly candle close, bullish here on Nvidia. If you look at this on the daily time frame, fairly bullish as well. If we're looking at the past really 20 to 40 sessions, nice consolidation break, and now you can see it push back up in towards our all-time highs. So for Nvidia, right, all-time highs is key, which is our 212. That is the level that we actually just hit here in the pre-market, as you can see. So we just hit our previous day highs. We just hit our previous all-time highs, or sorry, our all-time highs here in the pre-market. Now you can see we're having a little bit of reaction here, and now we're pulling back. So the level for today here on Nvidia is going to be that previous all-time highs, along with our previous day highs here as well. So this is going to be the key level, 211. Right, if you are long whatsoever, people are going to be looking to take profits up in towards this all-time highs key level. But for today, what we're going to keep in mind is our previous day highs along with our pre-market highs. So if we do want to see continued upside, as long as we can maintain above our 208, which is our previous day close, which is also our higher low here as well, we can expect continuation towards the upside. So potential previous day close bounce here on Nvidia. Another possible scenario kind of just consolidates right off the bat above our pre-market highs, sorry, above our previous day highs, continuation towards the upside, or now above our pre-market highs, push towards the upside here as well. So this is what we have on Nvidia. As I mentioned, we are looking for continuation towards the upside. The daily chart in this case looks fairly bullish. We are at all-time highs. That is something to keep in mind. So we'll base it off of intraday price action. But as long as you can maintain above key levels, which in this case is at 208, we are going to be looking for continuation towards the upside here, specifically on Nvidia and the rest of the semiconductors here as well. Now let's talk about AMD. So AMD, really solid push towards the highs. Basically, we had this period of consolidation, which was our previous all-time highs that we had. And as you can see, AMD really strong push towards the upside. As you can see, this candle close here on the weekly time frame. Last week's candle close, or sorry, the week previous, we closed above our previous all-time highs. And you can see last week's candle look at how big of a candle we had here on AMD. So as you can see right here, really strong weekly candle close. Very bullish here on the weekly time frame. If you look on the daily time frame, well above our previous all-time highs, and pretty solid gap up here on AMD for continuation towards the upside here as well. So really strong push here on AMD towards the upside. Of course, we had that major gap up on Friday. Now the key levels that we're going to have marked out coming into today is going to be that previous day highs along with our previous day lows, 336. If you do want to see some upside here on AMD above our 352, continuation towards the upside, another possible scenario here now, pull back down in towards that previous day lows, hold above that level for continuation higher here as well. So this is what we have on AMD coming into market open. Let's keep an eye out on our previous day highs along with our previous day lows. AMD, there's not really any short positions that I'm interested in, but potentially if it rejects here off that 352, you can see it move down in towards our pre-market lows and potentially this like 334. But as I mentioned, if you look at this daily chart, going to be very difficult to try and capture that perfect short, especially with the higher time frame being this bullish. So this is what we have on AMD coming to market open. So we'll keep an eye out on that 350. That's going to be the key level coming to market open. Let's go on to Apple here. Apple actually showing a little bit of weakness. If you look at this on the weekly time frame, as I mentioned, the weekly time frame here, just a little bit more consolidation. This is the key level starting off with 2026. At least this is the first couple months worth of price action. Not really closing above our key levels here on Apple. Last week's candle close here on the weekly time frame, fairly neutral from a weekly candle close perspective. So not really too much to talk about on Apple. Daily chart, not as big of a move, kind of rejecting off our 276. So we needed above 276 at a minimum. If we look at this here on the weekly candle, on the hourly chart, key levels that we have marked out is that 276 as I mentioned. Other levels that I do have marked out here as well is going to be that 270. So this is what we have on Apple coming into market open. If we do want to see some upside, reclaim back above that 270 at a minimum. If we reject here, then we can see that push back down in towards that 266 and potentially below, which is that 262. So those are the levels moving forward here on Apple. Keep an eye out on that 269 along with their previous day lows 270 here on Apple. Let's talk about Google here. This one does have an all-time highs push. That's what we have on the higher time frames. If we look at this on the weekly chart, pretty strong weekly candle close, closing above our previous week's highs. Next level is going to be that all-time highs here on Google. So keep an eye out on a Google push towards the upside. Consolidation the past couple of sessions. Nice break here on Friday. Next level is going to be that all-time high. So let's keep an eye out on Google all-time highs push coming into this week. We do have earnings on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. So we do have earnings on Wednesday. I am expecting a push up in towards that all-time highs pre-earnings. So let's keep that in mind for Google. But at least for the levels that we have coming into today, what we're going to mark out is going to be that 340, multiple touches last week. 334 is in play here as well. Other levels that we can have marked out at least today is going to be that previous day highs. We can trade this down 334. So for Google coming to market open, maintain above that 334 previous day highs, hold for a push up in towards that 349 here on the higher time frames, which is our all-time highs. As I mentioned, I am expecting a push up in towards that all-time highs, most likely before earnings. So we can keep an eye on Google today above our previous day highs for that push up in towards that 349 here on Google. As for Microsoft, another one with earnings on Wednesday. Key level for Microsoft is going to be that 410. As you can see, kind of flip back above our 410. Now we're basing above that level. What I like to see on Microsoft, if we look at this from a weekly perspective, as you can see on the weekly chart, nice weekly candle close. As you can see, last week's price action, fairly neutral weekly candle, right in towards a key level here as well. So neutral weekly candle close here on Microsoft. If we're looking at this on the daily chart, a little bit more consolidation now after having this nice bounce off the lows. If you do want to see continuation above our previous week's highs is going to be key. For Microsoft, we need it above our 432 if we do want to have any sort of continuation towards the upside. You can see, sorry, a little bit more consolidation as I mentioned. If you do want to see some upside here now on Microsoft, really it's going to be above 420 or now above our 426 for that push up in towards that 430 that we do have here on the higher time frames. Let's go on to Meta. As you can see here for Meta, nice weekly candle close 2 weeks ago, at least for last week's price action. Weekly chart, the weekly candle, fairly neutral, basically in between its previous week's candle here on the weekly time frame. If we're looking at this on the daily time frame, a little bit of rejections here off that 680, needs to reclaim 680 at a minimum if we do want to see a continued pushback towards the upside. So that's what we have for Meta coming into market open. The key levels that we do have marked out is going to be that for that to boot back up. All right, we should be reconnected here. So if you guys do have any issues, as I mentioned, you guys can refresh the stream and everything should be good. Yeah, if you guys are having any problems, as I mentioned, just refresh the stream and everything should be set. All right, let's talk about Amazon here. So Amazon was one of the ones that we're keeping an eye out for last week for that all-time highs push. Nice kind of weekly candle close. As you can see, last week's weekly candle closed above our previous all-time highs. So bullish here on the weekly time frame, daily chart here, breaking above our previous all-time highs here as well. Fairly bullish above our previous all-time highs. Now, as long as you can maintain above our 260, continuation towards the upside here is in play on Amazon. As for the key levels that I personally have marked out is our previous all-time highs, 258. As long as you can maintain above this level, as I mentioned, we can see continuation towards the highs. Key levels that we do have marked out is going to be that previous day highs. We can drag this down, which is that 264. Other levels that we have marked out here as well is that 258. So above that 264 hold. Another possible scenario is the hold above our 258 for continuation towards the upside. So Amazon here, fairly bullish above that 258. As for Netflix, this one is coming back down in towards a key level support here. So if we're looking at this on a weekly time frame perspective, Netflix, pretty strong sellers kind of right off our key areas, which is this previous level that we ended up breaking down from. We end up having earnings, nice rejection here. You can see the weekly chart, pretty strong rejections off key levels. If we're looking at this weekly chart, another week candle closure, back down in towards that key level support that we do have, which is our 92 key psych. But as you can see right here, we have a gap up. We also have a gap down due to earnings. Now we're right into a key level of support. Let's see if any sort of buyers try and step in here on Netflix to defend this 92 key psych level here, which is going to be key on Netflix. But yeah, that's the key levels that I have marked out on Netflix. Keep an eye out on your 92 for potential bounce play. Besides that, as I mentioned, we'll keep an eye out on some of the semis coming into this week. Are the options? Yeah, basically anything that is going to have earnings this week is going to be elevated. So Apple, of course, right? You have SNDK, WDC on Wednesday. You have a bunch of the Mag 7 here as well. So on a Monday, the IV is going to be somewhat elevated, but closer to earnings, it's going to be more elevated. So Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, the day of course, we can't trade it, right? We'll take a look at the options contracts today for Monday. We can still technically trade it because it's a couple days out. Generally speaking, we don't really want to trade names pre-earnings unless we're well positioned ahead of time. We now want to wait for what's called an after earnings play. So after earnings, that's when the IV is going to cool off. That's when we can look to trade any of these names that we do have. So pre-earnings, generally speaking, we want to be more hands-off in the markets and just wait for an after earnings play. But with that being said, let's quickly run through some names that I have here. We are running out of time, so I'll just quickly go over them. Palantir key levels is going to be that 140 along with our 150. Right, we'll keep an eye on Palantir, potential mini bounce here off that key level. AVGO is at all-time highs, so nice move on AVGO. Above our previous all-time highs here now, maintain above our 410 for continuation towards the upside. Key levels that I personally have marked out is our previous all-time highs. Keep an eye out on our 414 here on AVGO. Oracle, this one is rejecting off our key levels, but we're just coming right back down in towards a key level support. Let's see if any buyers can step in here. AVGO offer 170. MU, this one really solid hold above our previous all-time highs. Nice kind of break and retest above that 492. Next levels that we do have marked out is going to be that previous day highs, maintain above 504, continuation higher. SNDK, this one is at 1,000 here now. Key levels that we are going to have marked out is of course going to be that previous all-time highs, 990, maintain above 990 for continuation higher here on SNDK. This one does have earnings, so I'd be a little bit more cautious. IV is going to be a little bit higher here, but keep an eye out on our it was our 990. Intel, we had a gap up, of course, with earnings. Now for Intel, the key levels that we're going to mark out is going to be that previous day lows. Other levels that we could have marked out here as well is going to be that pre-market highs along with our previous day highs. So for Intel moving forward, if we do want to see upside above our previous day highs, hold above that level, or now maintain above our previous day lows, 80 key cycle level for that push back towards the upside. So keep this in mind for Intel. WDC has earnings this week. Hood has earnings this week. A couple other names have earnings, right? Even SoFi has earnings. So a lot of names do have earnings coming to this week in specific. As I mentioned, if we are looking for any sort of trading opportunities, you want to be a little bit more cautious and generally wait for after earnings. But at least for today, let's go over the game plan coming to market open. So as you can see right here, we are above our previous day highs. A little bit of reaction coming into market open here now. So if we do want to see some upside, preferably above our previous day highs for continuation, that's going to be the best case scenario for longs. Anything below our previous day highs is going to be a little bit more tough, but as long as we can maintain above it, we're going to see some continuation higher, at least for the SPY chart. The key level I personally have moving forward is going to be 712. Maintain a bullish stance above 712 or above our previous day highs for continuation. Main watch is coming to market open. What I'm going to keep an eye out for is Nvidia. This one just hit our all-time highs, but we can see some more continuation above our pre-market highs or above our previous day highs, or really now as long as you can maintain above that 208. So I'm going to maintain a bullish stance here on Nvidia coming to market open. AMD, similar thing. This one's just continuing towards the upside. Maintain a bullish stance above our previous day highs for continuation. So we'll keep an eye out on the semis, of course. As for the rest of the names, right, Tesla, not as bullish on this one. Would have to get above our previous day highs at a minimum. Of course, we had earnings last week as well, so not as bullish on that one. Apple. Similar thesis here, not as bullish on this ticker. We're going to have to reclaim back above key levels if I'm interested. Google is one of the names I'm keeping an eye out for an all-time highs push. As you can see here on the daily chart, nice strong candle close last week above our key levels. The next level is going to be that all-time highs 350. So we'll keep an eye out on Google above our previous day highs for continuation, or the reclaim back above for a push higher. So we'll keep an eye out on Google for an all-time highs play. And then for the rest of the names here, Amazon's also at all-time highs here as well. So my favorite names, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, and AMD coming into market open. As for the rest of the tickers, kind of lagging behind here, so we'd have to wait for the intraday price action. As for everything else, right, AVGO looks good for continuation, right? MU still looks good above our previous day highs for a move higher. SNDK, of course, here above our previous day highs. This one does have earnings later into the week, so I'll be a little bit more cautious, but these names still look very solid. Intel still looks very solid for continuation. Hood and SoFi have earnings this week as well, so a couple of names do have earnings. But as for the semiconductors, still maintaining above key levels. As you can see, the SMH is retesting currently right off our previous day highs. So for the SMH and the semis, maintain above our previous day highs for continuation coming into market open. But yeah, that is going to be it for me today. I am going to get ready for market open here. Now it is about 8:45, so I do have to leave. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy the pre-market prep. If you guys did, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below. And with that being said, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. All right, take care, everyone. Peace.